Hello friends. God designed your body to thrive and to heal. And one of the ways he did that was by giving us fruit. But how much fruit is too much? The fruit issue can be very confusing. Have you been told to maybe restrict your fruit because of the high carbohydrate level that's in it? Have you wondered if maybe a cup of berries or an apple or a banana might sabotage your wellness, your health goals? Well, let's talk about that today. So before there was keto, there was paleo, and before that I think it was like South Beach, and before that it was Mr. Atkins, and I think everybody remembers Mr. Atkins. I did the Atkins thing for a while and had like a plain chicken breast for a snack and peanut butter on nothing and lots of whipped cream for dessert because that's what you were allowed to have, until everything in my body kind of went sluggish. My energy was just on the floor and I was constipated and in inflammation and just so much fatigue. And so then I was diagnosed with osteoporosis. So I started doing a lot of research and I learned about the acid-alkaline balance and how God gave us foods that were perfectly designed for us, that would help us, and that plant sugars were actually our preferred source of fuel for our bodies. So then I inched my way into a high carb lifestyle, and it has made all the difference in my life. So I just wanted to share some of the benefits with you and decide what amount of fruit is right for you. So the benefits to fruit, well, there's a lot of them, but to name a few, they're high in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, high water content, nutrient-dense foods, very satiating, low calorie, all kinds of stuff. They decrease inflammation, they decrease your risk for cancers and heart disease, and so much more. So you might say, but I want to lose weight, and I was told I have to restrict my carbohydrates to lose weight, and that means fruit. Well, it's interesting. A lot of studies, and I'm going to link a video below that talks about some of these from nutritionfacts.org, but a lot of studies have shown that actually the more fruit a person eats, the more weight loss they have. So it's kind of exactly the opposite of what we're told to do. So it is not associated with weight gain. In fact, it's associated with weight loss. And statistics show that if you are on a low carb diet, the weight that you will lose, half of it will be gained back within 2 years and all of it within 5 years. It's not great odds. So you might be saying, well, I have blood sugar issues, I have diabetes. Doctors recommend restricting fruit. So again, so many studies out there that are really, really great, and the evidence is just coming out more and more, and so some of that might be outdated. You might take another look at that if you're in that situation. But fruit has no effect on raising the blood sugars or the blood sugar response when you're eating, if you eat it in the whole form. And in fact, if you add fruit to every meal, your body handles the blood sugar response much better. And I think it's probably because of the antioxidants and the fiber and all the nutrients that are in it. So relook at that and check out the studies that might help you. There is another factor to that we'll talk about later, but for now, so you might say, well, Lindsay, our ancestors didn't eat fruit year-round, it's seasonal. Well, I guess that depends on what you consider your ancestors, because if your ancestors come from Northern Europe, sure. But my ancestors came from Adam and Eve. Well, actually, Adam and Eve were my ancestors. So they came from a garden where God provided them fruit. So I think, yes, people have a choice now to travel wherever they want to and set up shop, right? And then they are obligated, in a way, to eat whatever's there. But we have a choice today not to live like our ancestors did in Northern Europe or wherever they might have come from. We can choose to eat healthy foods all year round thanks to the grocery stores that we have available to us. So we don't necessarily want to live like our ancestors. Personally, I like hot showers and running water and traveling easily. So, ancestors are not the best barometer of how we should live today. Also, they didn't quite live as long. So maybe you might say, well, it's bad for your teeth. It rots your teeth, so that can't be natural. Well, actually, sugar is not what causes cavities. What causes cavities is bacteria. Bacteria eat the sugar, so you do want to brush and floss your teeth no matter what you eat, but it turns out processed foods like crackers, breads, chips, cookies, all that gooey, crunchy stuff that turns to like, glue and sticks in your teeth. That's the stuff that bacteria love. Fresh fruit has so much fiber in it and water that it really doesn't stick on your teeth, but you definitely want to brush and floss if you want to keep your teeth. So that's kind of goes along with whatever you eat. So the problem is not fruit sugar, the problem is added sugar. So there's also some great studies that one in particular showed that how much fruit is too much? Well, they put it to the test. They gave people 20 servings a day of fruit. That's equal to about 8 cans of soda. And they saw only benefits to people's weight loss, benefits to their blood pressure, benefits to their blood lipid level, so the fats that are floating around in your bloodstream. They showed no adverse side effects at all with 20 servings of fruit, only benefits. So maybe there isn't a too much in this particular argument, except for maybe how much you need to go to the bathroom. That is definitely a factor. So you might say, well, my low carb thing is working for me. I like it. I'm losing weight. I feel okay. And that's amazing. If that works for you, that's great. My question is, in the beginning, God designed mankind with the ideal optimal diet, fruits and greens, nuts and seeds. And I just kind of wonder, fruit is mentioned 208 times in the Bible. And the very first chapter in Genesis to the very last chapter in Revelation, fruit is mentioned as food for humans. I think that's so interesting. It bookmarks all the stuff in the middle. So why wouldn't he say, if fruit wasn't good for us, why wouldn't he say, eat the fat? In fact, he says, don't eat the fat. He says, the fat is mine. If you look at the Levitical books in the beginning, the fat was to be given as an offering to God, because one theory is that it's not good for us. And of course, this is animal fat, so you could argue avocados and all that, and nuts and seeds, and we won't get into all that today, but just consider, why did God say that fruit was our optimal diet? Why does he say the fruit of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control? Why would he say that's the fruit? And I think it's just because we like fruit. Fruit is sweet. Fruit is attractive to us. Fruit is something we can relate to, and it's desirable. So it's an option, Fruit is maybe what we were made for. And I don't think that there is a limit to how much. But if you want to try it, don't take my word for it. Do an experiment. If the high fat is working for you and you have great energy, you have great digestion, you have great elimination, you sleep well, your hormones are in check, you have enthusiasm for life when you get up in the morning, you have boundless energy, praise the Lord, he must be really blessing you. But if those things aren't quite in line, maybe just try an experiment. Try fruit, the more the merrier. Now, as I mentioned before, the diabetes idea, the problem people run into is when they have high fat and high fruit. Because the fat, as far as I understand this, I'm not a doctor, but as far as I understand, the fat, the lipids in the bloodstream that are floating around, block the receptors for the sugar to get into the cells, into your tissues where it gives you energy. So instead it's just circulating in your bloodstream, causing some free radical damage, causing some problems, some imbalances. So lower your fats, not no fats, but lower your fats, raise your carbohydrates in the form of whole, ripe, raw, fresh fruit, and I think you will see a major, major difference in your quality of life. So again, God's ways or man's ways. We have to choose, and God has the last say, because he writes the book, he writes the rules, and he created everything. So anyways, if you want help, if you're not sure, if you're kind of stuck here, reach out to me. I have been eating this way for years and years, and I mean, you know, it's working. I have good digestion, I have my optimal weight, I have lots of energy, I sleep generally better than I ever have, and I love it. There's no restriction either. There's not a lot of rules. So trust God's design and enjoy his food and just, you know, live life. An example of what I eat, I'll send some pictures after this, but easily I could eat this many bananas, maybe a little less, maybe 6 or 7 in a smoothie, one smoothie with some dates and a bunch of greens, and then I'll eat more fruit, maybe like half of this, watermelon. Yeah, so, and then more fruit in the afternoons, oranges or apples, but I eat a lot of greens also, and nuts and seeds. So I hope that helps you. I hope that now you have a little bit of an idea of maybe fruit isn't so evil after all, and I hope that you get to enjoy it. So thanks for being here with me today. God bless you, and have a great day.